DreAllDay.com.
DreAllDay.com. Topic of this video is, what do you hate? Yes, hate. What do you hate? And the reason why this matters, what you hate, is because sometimes it's hard for people to figure out what they want. Sometimes it's hard for you to come up with your goals. What do you want to achieve? Like, what would, let's say in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, what would you want this situation to be? What would you want to be true about you that would make you really happy and satisfied with yourself? Sometimes people can't answer that question. So here's a different question you can ask yourself that might help you come up with some answers. What do you hate? What could the situation be in your life a year from now when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your business, when it comes to your career, that if that was the case, you would be really, really disappointed and really unhappy and really unsatisfied with yourself, and whatever circumstances happen to all come together to make that be the outcome. What would that be that would make you really, really like, what the hell happened here? How did this even occur? What would that be? What would you hate? What's something in your life, if you can't quite figure out what you want, ask yourself, what's something that has ever happened in your life, any circumstance that has ever been the situation, and you were really disappointed and really unhappy and really like, this absolutely is unacceptable, and this can never ever be like this, can't be like this anymore, and it can never get like this ever again. I don't know how it got like this in the first place, but it can never be like this ever again. What was that circumstance? And everybody, if you think back in your own life, you can probably think of some situations that for which that the shoe fits, that fits that description. What are those times? And even if it's not the exact same thing, that can tell you a lot about just maybe your psyche and what you hate and what you absolutely are against. So, for example, being that I work with mostly entrepreneurs and people whose business are designed in a way that they, even if they are technically not entrepreneurs, they can pretty much, they call the shots in how they do things, being an entrepreneur. So they might work for a company, but they have their own office and they basically run it however they want to run it. A lot of people who I talk to, one of the main things that I hear often is, Dre, I don't like somebody telling me what to do. I don't like somebody being able to tell me what to do. And that might not hate it, but you don't like it. Or you might hate it. It's even better if you hate it. Because something that you hate, but the reason that matters, the thing that you hate, is because when you identify what you hate, you will be able to sum up the requisite energy and initiative to do something about the situation. See, if you just don't like a situation, you will endure it while not liking it. So I talk to people all the time who have full-time jobs. They don't want to have a full-time job. They'd rather have a business. And I'm like, well, why do you want to have a business? And one of the things they say, they talk about making money and this is my passion, or I know I'm good at this, and I got some people who will be my customers, the usual stuff. But often as you dig deeper, you'll hear something like, I don't want somebody else telling me what to do. I don't want to be under somebody else's thumb. I don't want someone else to have say over what happens in my life and how I do the things that I do. And if it's just you not liking it, you can endure something that you don't like. Like every one of you listening to me right now has some things going on in your life that you don't like, but those things are still existing. They're not going away. You're not doing anything to get rid of them, even though you don't like them. Why? Because not like is not a strong enough energy for you to do anything. Hate is a strong enough energy for you to do something. You absolutely hate something, you'll do something right now, today, not next week, not I'll write it down and when I get around to it, and when I make more money and when the circumstances are perfect and when the stars all align, then I'll do something. See, that's what you do when you don't like something. When you hate something, you do something today, right now, immediately. So there is a difference and there's a distinction between the things you don't like and the things you hate. You're better off coming up with the things you hate, because those are the things that will actually get you to make change. Many of you ain't changing right now simply because the things in your life, you don't dislike them strongly enough to do anything. So you're just letting them sit there. So think about what are the things that you hate, that you absolutely detest. And again, it may not be anything that comes to mind immediately right now in your life. Think back to some time in your life when there was something that you did actually hate, and see how you can connect it, or how you can take the seeds of that thing that you did hate and connect it to something that's going on right now in your life, and see how can you create that energy, because that's the energy that you need to do something. Most human beings do not have just this natural personal initiative where you just go and right now go do something about any situation that's less than ideal. Even though we all talk about that and we all dream and hope and wish that we could be like that, most human beings are not like that. Most human beings, we need to get ourselves to a certain point. We got to get to a certain boiling point in order to do something. There's this book called 212. And if you don't know what 212, the significance of that number, 212 is the number of degrees at which water boils. Water has to be at 212 degrees Fahrenheit to boil. If it's at 211 degrees, it won't boil. And this book 212 is a relatively short book. And the book it's kind of like a motivational book. And what the author is putting out in that book is that, look, in order for you to really get to the level that you need to get to in your life, you got to get yourself to that 212 degrees. You can't be at 210, you can't be at 209, you can't be at 211. You got to get yourself to 212 degrees if you're really going to do something and you're really going to make real change in your life. All right, anything less than 212 is not going to be enough to move you to action. So all of you got to get to that 212 degrees of things that you really, really detest and that you really see as unacceptable for yourself. Because other than that, if you don't do that, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go through the rest of your life telling yourself that, yeah, I don't like these things. This is not what I want. This is not ideal. It's not perfect. But here's where you start rationalizing. Well, it's not that bad. I can deal with it. I can endure this for another 6 months. I can deal with this for another year. I can live with this for a little while longer until the situation gets better. And this is how people sing themselves to sleep. And this is how people go through their entire lives living a life that is less than what they want and never do anything about it, simply because it's not bad enough in your mind for you to make any real change. So the thing that I want you to think about, and I want you to come up with answers to here, because this is the key. What do you hate? And if you can't figure out what you hate, keep thinking about it until you figure out something that you hate. Because if you can't come up with what you hate, then everything in your life is going to pretty much stay exactly the same, because the human brain would rather things stay the same than get uncomfortable and have to move and do anything different. We are creatures of habit. So with all that said, text me and tell me the best point you got from this video and what you're going to do differently. Actually, tell me what you did do differently based on what you heard in this video. My number is 305-384-6894. Once you text me, you'll be in my text community, which means every day when I send out my daily motivation text for free, you'll be getting it. And Work on Your Game University, that's the place where I do all my coaching. So any of you who has watched this video and you think you could benefit from having somebody coach you or getting access to all of the courses that we have in the university, like Bulletproof Mindset, 30 Days of Discipline, ASAP Confidence, the Work on Your Game system, Next Mission Framework, Business Building Framework. We got a whole lot of frameworks in the university for you when you become a member. I also send out 2 physical mailings every month. One of them is called the Bulletproof Bulletin. The other one is called the Black Book. All of that is available to members of the university, and none of it's available to anybody who's not a member of the university. So go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. The link to that is also down below in the description, right next to the number where you can get my daily motivation text. So look down in the description of the video for all that stuff. Work on your game. Dre, all